My life's a mess, don't know what to do. But every storm's a chance to break through. It's time to rise, to stand my ground, to chase my dreams and turn it all around. It's time for a change, time to set me free. Stay self-aware, resilient as can be. Life's a fight, but I'm here to say, put on your helmet, we're paving the way. We're paving the way.
Welcome back to Life's a Bitch, Get a Helmet. This is Fry. Today, we're tackling a topic that hits close to home. Asking for help. Whether it's in our personal lives, our careers, or when we're facing mental health challenges. Admitting that we need support can feel like an impossible step. But it's one of the most courageous things you can do. If you caught episode 1 of this season, Acknowledging the Aftermath, you know I've been doing a lot of reflecting lately. That episode was about taking responsibility, learning from past mistakes, and being honest with ourselves. This episode is really the next step in that journey. Because sometimes owning our truth also means admitting you can't do it all alone. Asking for help is something many of us struggle with. It's not just you. Society, culture, and even our own inner voices often make us feel like we have to shoulder everything alone. For many of us, especially those with military backgrounds, asking for help feels like admitting defeat. But here's the truth. It's actually a sign of strength, not weakness. Today, we're going to unpack why seeking support is so important, how stigma holds us back, and how we can start breaking free from it. Before we dive in, let's take a moment to give a shout out. Let's give a shout out to Stella Blues. Whether you're a vaping veteran or considering an alternative to smoking, Stella Blues and Fenton is my go-to. They're not just experts in their field. They genuinely care about their customers' needs and safety. And the best part? You can now order online. If you stop by, tell them Fry sent you. Now back to it we go. In the military, toughness and resilience are drilled into us from day one. While these traits are essential, they sometimes create an unintended consequence. A stigma around asking for help. Speaking up about struggles, especially mental health, can feel like admitting weakness. And that's where the problem lies. Growing up, my parents taught me the value of hard work. They were old school, so asking for help was a last resort. But even early on, I learned that there are just some things I can't do on my own. The routine was always the same. I'd keep pushing, trying every possible way to figure it out, all by myself. Only after I'd exhausted every option would I finally ask for help. That way, I could tell myself I'd earned it, that I'd done everything I could first. And yeah, it made asking feel a little less embarrassing. But honestly, I still felt defeated. I hated admitting I couldn't do it alone. But I also felt like I had to try everything first, just to justify that I was worthy of asking. Now that mindset is still with me. It's part of who I am. But I've learned over the years that asking for help sooner rather than later saves a lot of unnecessary stress. I don't wait until I'm completely burned out anymore. It's not always easy, but it's gotten easier, and that's what growth looks like. When I worked under Scott Young, he saw this trait in me and actually appreciated it. But what made him a great leader was that he helped me find common ground. He suggested setting a time frame to try solving things on my own before asking for help. That changed everything for me. But here's the thing. It took me so much longer to apply this same process when it came to my mental health. In my career and day-to-day life, I learned how to ask for help when I truly needed it. But when it came to my mental health, the stigma felt heavier. It wasn't just about admitting I couldn't do something on my own. It felt like admitting there was something wrong with me. I kept pushing through, convincing myself I could handle it, that I had to handle it. For many service members, the fear isn't just about personal pride. It's about career consequences. We worry that asking for help will put a target on our backs, make us seem unreliable, or even cost us a promotion. But here's what I've learned. Avoiding help only makes things worse. The longer you wait, the more we struggle in silence, and the harder it gets to recover. This struggling is incredibly common. Research from the military health system shows that military health stigma in the military is deeply rooted in a culture of self-reliance. Service members often fear career repercussions if they speak up about struggles. For me, it wasn't just fear of consequences. It was fear of how I'd be seen. I avoided asking for help for years, and it left me feeling isolated. But what I've learned is that this way of thinking doesn't serve anyone. Asking for help isn't a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength. It's about taking ownership of your well-being and breaking free from the chains of stigma. And leaders like Scott taught me that setting boundaries for myself, as simple as setting a time frame, can turn asking for help into deliberate and empowering decisions, not a last resort. This shift in perspective doesn't just apply for asking for help. It's also about how we as leaders create environments where others feel safe to do the same. That brings me to the role of empathy in leadership. During one of the most stressful periods of my life, I worked under Scott Young, the facility manager of the senior living facility and senior apartments that were on the same property. It was a tough time because I just come back from my second tour from Iraq as a squad leader. The transition to civilian life was not easy, and the weight of leadership during deployment still lingered. I was trying to balance work, family, and my mental health. And honestly, I wasn't doing a great job of it. But Scott saw me, not just as another employee, but as a person. For instance, a moment that stands out to me when I dealt with a flashback while completing a task on the roof. This was a task completed every 3 to 4 weeks. It was a simple task, cleaning lint off the bird screen of the industrial dryer vent. This particular day, standing on a white roof, the sun overhead, and also reflecting off the white rubber roof made the temperature rise by 10 or 15 degrees. As I knelt down in front of this vent, the laundry team had just reloaded all 3 industrial dryers and turned them on. The heat from the dryers hit my face, and all of a sudden, my breathing became heavy. My senses were on edge, and the bright sun and the heat from both the sun and the vent took me back to Iraq, wearing full battle rattle, sitting in the gunner's seat with a 50 cal while being the lead truck. Flashbacks are one of those things you don't talk about much. They just happen. And you hope nobody notices. Scott noticed. I had come back down. He saw me. He asked me what was going on. I didn't say much at first. But when I mentioned the flashbacks, instead of dismissing it, he asked if someone else needed to handle the task. That empathy and understanding created trust and showed me what true leadership looks like. I gave his question some thought, and I told him no. I needed to do it so this wouldn't be a problem in the future. What Scott demonstrated aligns perfectly with what Simon Sinek discusses in his book, Leaders Eat Last. Sinek emphasizes that empathy is the cornerstone of effective leadership. He explains that great leaders create environments where people feel safe to speak up and be vulnerable without fear of judgment. Scott didn't just ask if I was okay. He actively supported me in a way that felt genuine and actionable. That's what builds trust and fosters resilience in a team. One of the hardest parts of asking for help is taking the first step. It's easy to convince yourself that no one will understand, or that asking for help will somehow make things worse. But again, a truth. Taking the first step is where the real challenge begins. Many people don't ask for help because they fear being a burden. They think everyone else has their own problems. Why should I add mine? But what we often forget is that people want to help. Think about it. If someone you care about came to you and asked for support, would you turn them away? Probably not. You'd do what you could. So why do we assume others wouldn't do the same for us? Breaking the stigma isn't just about asking for help for yourself. It's about making sure those around you feel safe to do the same. If you are in a leadership position, in the military, at work, or even within your own family, you have the power to set the example. The more we normalize these conversations, the more we give permission for others to step forward. Small actions make a difference. Check in with your friends or coworkers, ask, how are you really doing? And be ready to listen. Share your own experiences. The moment someone realizes they're not alone, the walls start to come down. Encourage open discussions about mental health in your workplace or unit. Even a casual conversation can change someone's perspective. So now that we've talked about why normalizing help seeking matters, let's take it a step further. I want to give you a practical exercise that you can try right now to reflect on where you stand and what steps you can take to break through the hesitation. Let's try something. Grab a piece of paper or open your notes app. Whatever recording device, note-taking device you got. Write down 3 situations where you've hesitated to ask for help. These can be from your personal life, work, or even a minor everyday struggle. Then, next to each, write down what stopped you. Was it fear, pride, uncertainty? Now, I want you to imagine a close friend or family member coming to you with the same exact struggles. What would you tell them? Would you judge them for needing help? Or would you encourage them to reach out? The reality is, we are often much kinder to others than we are to ourselves. Choose one of those 3 situations and take one small step towards asking for help. It doesn't have to be big. Maybe it's sending a text, scheduling a conversation, or even just acknowledging to yourself that it's okay to need support. So my challenge to you is this. Within the next 24 hours, take that step. And if you know someone who's been struggling, reach out. A simple, hey, I've been thinking about you. How are you? What's going on? Can mean much more than you realize. Before we wrap up, let's do a quick recap of what we covered today. We started by discussing the stigma surrounding asking for help, especially in the military and high-performance environments, and how it often makes us feel like we have to carry everything alone. Then, we talked about the role of empathy and leadership, using Scott Young's example to highlight what real support looks like. We moved on to how we can normalize help seeking, not just for ourselves, but for those around us. Finally, we ended with a practical exercise to help you reflect on your own barriers and taking a small step towards asking for help. And for the challenge of the week, taking that practical exercise and using it. Taking that step towards asking for help in an area where you've been struggling. Again, it doesn't have to be big. Maybe it's just reaching out to a friend, opening up to a trusted coworker, or even just acknowledging to yourself that you don't have to do it alone. And if you know someone who's been having a hard time, check in with them. That simple, hey, what's going on, can make all the difference. Thanks for joining me today. Remember, stay self-aware, stay resilient. And as always, life's a bitch. Get a helmet.
Boundaries are set, dreams in sight. With every step I'm winning the fight. Life's a bitch, but I'm holding tight. Join the journey, let's ignite. It's time for a change, time to set me free. Stay self-aware, resilient as can be. Life's a flight, but I'm here to say, put on your helmet, we're paving the way. We're paving the way.
Before I let you go, I'd love to hear from you. If today's episode resonated with you, or if you have a story about resilience, habits, or overcoming challenges, reach out to me. You can email me, you can send me a message through the website. Your story could inspire others. It might even be featured on a future episode. I can't wait to hear from you.